Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. Last episode, we set up this ferry service to run from Scottsdale to Stockton, all the way out here. And I think these came out really nice, and I'd like to spruce up the rest of Scottsdale and Jackson by maybe upgrading some of our main roads to these newer roads that we just unlocked with the next era, and maybe even upgrading some of our trucks and vehicles since we haven't really touched those since we've started. So taking a look at our truck station, these I believe are probably our oldest vehicles that we still have running around here. So let's grab those, and we can see we've unlocked quite a few new trucks. If we compare it, this one ran at 16 miles an hour with a capacity of 6. And a lot of the newer ones that we have now can run much faster with more or similar cargo. So since this line is carrying machines, I think we have to go with the Ford Model 77 tarpaulin truck. It carries 8, which is just a small upgrade, and has a top speed of 27 or 25 miles an hour. So we'll replace those. And we can see here now we have those trucks starting to go around. Next we have these trucks, which are also the same kind, and these are carrying tools. So let's see if maybe we can get a different truck to carry those tools around. And I think we'll also go with these Ford trucks, since nothing else can really carry tools besides some of the older trucks that we already have running through this truck station. And lastly, we still do have some of these very old trucks right here that we can see. These, if we just take a look in here and try to replace those actually are these steam flatbed trucks, I believe. Actually, it's these ones, the DMG CanStat. So that's probably the oldest truck we have running through here. And it is carrying food. So let's see if maybe we can get a different truck in here, sort of just for variety. So let's maybe go with one of these, maybe the Mack AC flatbed truck, just to give a little bit different color and feel to some of the trucks that come through here. So we should now be able to begin to see our trucks and buses moving at a fairly good speed throughout all of this. We do have this vehicle though, which only travels at a maximum of 16 miles an hour. So let's see if maybe we have some better bus options for around here. So we definitely have faster options, and I think let's go with these Schneider PB2 buses for a bit of variety, since we have these deck seat cars on some other lines around the area. So let's maybe get those here, and then maybe heading the other direction we'll also do the same thing. So we'll replace those with some of these, and we'll do the same thing on the other line. So I believe if we come back here, these should be carrying one more person. However, we do sacrifice a tiny bit of speed. We'll see if that ends up having a factor on anything, but I think that's good for vehicle upgrades in this area. So next I want to start upgrading some roads through this area. I don't think we're going to do every road, but I think we're going to do at least the main roads that are currently being used in each city. So definitely our large avenue that connects the two. Maybe this other road that goes all the way across. And then maybe like this main street that runs up and down straight through Jackson. And the same over in Scottsdale. So coming in here, we can select a large street and simply just start upgrading segments of this road all the way until we get into the city of Scottsdale. Yeah. So there's that road all upgraded. I believe they should be able to travel faster on this road, even though I don't think we were hitting the speed limit before anyway. but at least in the future now we don't have to worry about that. And quickly, let's square away this road so that connects to another intersection instead of making its own smaller intersection. And then we'll upgrade this main street that runs through Jackson from an outside connection. And I think we'll just have that end right when it meets the main 4-lane road here. And then another road I want to upgrade is this one. So bringing that one through. And then this one here. That'll take us all the way back over to Scottsdale. So then on the Scottsdale side of the city, let's upgrade this road. And then we'll also upgrade this one. And this one will take pretty much all the way down to the water. So right to this little weird turnaround section. And I think we might as well upgrade this road as well, since it connects between two newer roads anyway. So now that we pretty much have everything upgraded in these two cities, we can now get into expanding and improving some other areas of the map. So I think what we're gonna do in this video is start to prepare and get ready for shipping goods to Jackson and Scottsdale. Now they don't quite require it yet, but soon enough they will, and we only really have one goods factory up and running at the moment. So we're going to take a look at improving the one that we currently have running, and maybe if we can find a good enough location or one that makes sense, setting up a new line to produce goods, maybe somewhere closer on this side of the map. So looking around, we do have two goods factories right here outside of Albuquerque, and up on this plateau is pretty much every resource that we need for that. We have the oil well over to the oil refinery, which that would require a fairly decent bridge, or if we wanted to work ourselves down to this one. And then we have the chemical plant to get the plastics. And then for the steel side of it, we have the coal and iron mine down here next to the river as well, that we could probably truck up to the steel mill and then ship over. But I think right now that's a little tough to do with the trucks that we currently have, and we'd require very steep roads to get up this portion, as pretty much trains and boats are pretty much out of the question just due to how hard or how long it would take to move those resources. So I think let's just focus on improving the one we already have over here at Montgomery. So taking a look at the goods factory here in Montgomery, it looks like steel is lacking yet again, but that's why we redid the steel mill and improved the efficiency so that we could start to get more steel coming out of this area. And if we look here, it seems that our steel is currently limited by our coal output. So coming over to our newer coal mine, there is one thing I want to do. I've found a few more things on the Steam Workshop that I think would really help bring these truck stations to life, since really they're all just sort of flat platforms with this type of road that doesn't really match the area. So we're gonna come in here. First, let's pause, and we're gonna configure this. We'll delete this road and have a new street access. And right now we'll leave it as, I think, a gravel road, because that's what it's currently connected to. Yeah, we'll have that little asphalt road connection there. And then as for our platforms, let's delete that one and put in these coal cargo platforms. So here it is. All we did was add one coal cargo platform in the middle, and then just did the two regular cargo platforms on the sides, since really we're only going to have one truck stopping here at a time, so having just one sort of loading point for the coal makes sense. And I think that's how we're going to leave this. And I think maybe for the sake of immersion, we could do the same thing on this side, even though this one probably won't get used any or even at all, if at all. But let's come back and add in the extra cargo buildings. So there we go. And now I think this looks pretty nice. So the only thing that we need to do in this area, I think, is get trucks that look like they could be filled with coal. So probably something that's not a covered truck. So it looks like our best option is this Ford truck with side stakes, as that's really the only open bed truck that can carry coal at the moment, besides maybe one or two others. But I think these look okay. Of course, later on we'll unlock bigger trucks that can carry coal, and this will look a lot more natural than just sort of a pickup truck coming through here, but I'm okay with that for now. And since we are a little low on coal at the steel mill, let's add 2 more trucks, even though I believe these trucks already improve the capacity by a little bit. But either way, that'll still help out getting more coal to this steel mill so that we can ship more over to the goods factory. And looking at this platform, it looks like the Montgomery steel line is the one that has the most steel waiting for, so it might not even be the steel mill that we were necessarily held up by, but in fact the trucks that we have running between them. As we can see, these trucks aren't really the best and they're fairly old, so definitely want to replace these with something newer and probably as fast as possible, since it's a very long line. So again, let's go with this Ford truck, as it's fast, provides a little bit of variety for the area, and carries a significant amount more steel. However, I do think maybe 5 more vehicles on a line this long probably wouldn't hurt anyways, so we'll just have to give that time to run, and we'll stop back at the goods factory to see if we're beginning to make a surplus over there. So while we wait for that, there's a similar thing with the iron truck station that I want to do. So I want to, well, first of all, pause, and I want to add these type of platforms, and I think we'll just do one of them, and then we'll do the same thing, just one cargo platform on each side, so we can see the coal or the iron building up, so it doesn't look like it's just spitting out iron. It looks like it's actually being held on the platforms and then being moved into the trucks. So it doesn't really matter which terminal it's on, since both of them look similar now. But we can see here we sort of have this conveyor belt that'll put the iron ore in the trucks. So we did do a similar thing here with the trucks. We got an open bed truck that can carry iron. Now these don't quite have as much capacity, but they do have the same top speed, so really we just added a few trucks extra to the line to accommodate the loss in capacity from what we had before. And then of course the final touch, having a dirt road entrance to here to make the entrance to this truck stop look a lot more natural than it was before. So after letting this run for a little bit, we can see the production at the steel mill has definitely gone up a little bit. I believe that was sitting around 200 or 210 when we started here, so that's up about 20 to 30 units. We can see the amount of iron stored is going down a tiny bit, which means we have improved the amount of coal that we're shipping over. And looking at our platforms, we don't really have anything waiting at some of these, so that also just helps prove our point that we're probably making enough here at the steel mill. And coming over to the goods factory, we can see we're probably getting a pretty steady load of steel now, so the goods factory probably isn't producing more just out of the fact that it doesn't need to. And we can see we're definitely overloading the station with goods at the moment. Coming up to Montgomery though, it looks like it's only getting about a third of the goods that it really needs, and if we come in here and see where our truck stop is, we should definitely be able to fulfill that demand, since this truck stop does cover that whole area. So I think we might just need a few more trucks delivering goods into the city of Montgomery. So let's just grab one of these trucks, and first of all, these desperately need an upgrade. So let's go with probably the most powerful truck we have, since they do have to go up a pretty steep slope. So again, with these Ford trucks, and then we'll bring this up to a nice even 10 vehicles on the line, and hopefully we'll begin to fulfill the demand here over in Montgomery. So another thing for us to do while we wait for some of our factories to catch up with the changes in vehicles is, I think, upgrading this road between the steel mill and this first coal mine. Since we have so many trucks on here, this road would probably end up getting paved, especially at this point in time, sort of in 1932. So let's just find a medium country road, and we'll just upgrade this all the way over until we get to the steel mill. So it seems like our goods factory is doing pretty well. Now the only thing that I think we should do is set up the infrastructure to send goods over there. I don't think we'll connect it up. Like if we have train, I don't think we'll make the rail just yet. So the way I see it, we pretty much have two options. We can either by train take the goods from the goods factory and then find the path through all of this sort of grassland where we can drop it off somewhere over here, where I'll probably want a separate station in this area for cargo trains. Or what we could do is bring it down to the river somewhere, and then by boat we could bring it through this river, and then maybe here or here we could make a canal where boats could come through and then come around and then all the way back up the river where it would reach Jackson and Scottsdale. And as much as I think it'd be pretty cool to have goods be delivered by boat and we'd have all 6 resources coming into the city by boat, I'm not convinced that that's the best idea, at least from that goods factory, since the time it would take for a boat to come from here all the way around the map to get to this port would probably be very long, and we need quite a few ships, which wouldn't really be such a bad thing, but I think realistically a train would probably work better. So maybe out here we can have a big cargo drop-off area, and then by truck we could have it be brought into the cities on their own separate truck lines. So I think I've decided that a train would probably be our best bet in terms of moving goods from here over to those cities. So let's set up our train stations in each area, and we're not going to connect them with track, but we will think about where the track is going to run as we're placing them. So first, over on the goods factory side, let's delete this road all the way back to the intersection there. And I think again we could probably justify upgrading these roads. We'll leave this one as a small country road, and then I think we'll just upgrade this road all the way up to Montgomery. So like that. And then as we build out from here, we'll continue to use the same roads. So we'll come straight out of the truck station here. We'll try to get this as straight as possible coming out. So we'll do something about there. And then coming straight off of this intersection, we'll want this to line up pretty well. And it looks like we might have to extend this road first. But then we should be able to just bring this across like that, so those roads look pretty parallel. And then we'll just round this off to a nice sharp corner where we can then fit our train station and everything else over in this spot. So let's go with this 240 meter train station. I think we'll do it about here-ish. I do want to leave a little bit of space between the train station and the road. And we'll come through and we'll flatten most of this area to be level with the tracks. And unfortunately it does look like it raises up a bit, so we'll just lightly smooth out some of this area, but that shouldn't really get in the way of all the other stuff that we do in this area. So the idea with this train station is we'll have the tracks come straight out and they'll sort of follow this side of the road, and at some point they'll meet up with these tracks where we're not going to put the cargo train on the same exact tracks, but we'll run all those tracks parallel up until the point where somewhere in this area we'd probably branch off and connect up wherever our station ends up being over here in Jackson and Scottsdale. So first let's do some light detailing of this area. We'll sort of get the basis of what we want, and then when we actually connect up this line we'll do a lot more detailing, but in the meantime we can do sort of the groundwork of what we want for our goods train station right now. Alright, so we'll stick to pretty much this for now. So we have a road which will sort of be the entrance for vehicles and whatnot. Not too sure what we do with this. Maybe we come back and wrap it around and there's like a storage building and then a parking lot here. Or maybe we bring it this way and this becomes like an open field of storage. I'm not too sure, but again, we'll get there once we actually connect that line in the future. So I think this is a good level of detail to leave it off for the goods factory. Now let's go over to Jackson and Scottsdale and figure out what we're going to do over there. So after looking at this area for a while, I think I kind of like this little pocket of flat area right here, as I don't think it'd really be useful for the city to take it over, as it'd be creating a lot of crosses with this rail, this track already, and there's really not an efficient way for the city to grow into here, so I think we might take over this area as sort of our cargo distribution hub for the city of Jackson and Scottsdale, and that lines us up pretty well with our existing line here. So if we do have a cargo line running parallel with this main passenger line, we should be able to disconnect and easily connect up to our cargo station over this way. So to do that, I'm going to delete all these roads, as we don't really want the city connecting over here anyway, and then we'll find a good level to start flattening things out. And I think we'll just go with this lowest level where the train tracks are. So we'll just have to come around and flatten all that out, and then of course we'll smooth it out once we sort of get our base down and figure out what we're going to do with the terrain in this area anyway. So we have our little flat patch right here. Let's get a cargo station, and we'll make this as big as possible since we'll probably have quite a few trains coming in through here in the future, although we do have some of it covered by boat, so I might leave this at 2 tracks for now, but we'll obviously leave space to grow. And I think this orientation that we already have is pretty good. Will give us some space, and we'll pretty much just roll with what we have right here. So as for coming into this area, let's delete this road, and then we'll just have it connect up to this intersection, as it would probably do that anyway. So we'll do that. And it looks like this road's been all upgraded to an asphalt road, so we'll leave that. And all we need now is sort of an access road. I think what we're going to want to do is get larger cargo buildings here. So we'll do that. We'll get 2 of these large cargo buildings on each side, followed by 1 or 2 of these small ramps on each side just to provide some variety. And then we can get a road that comes in here where we'll have like a warehouse and a bunch of other stuff. We'll obviously need a truck stop and other things, but we'll get there once we actually need to do up this whole area. So let's start with the train station, and we'll have that road come off pretty much just about like that. We'll have it continue to come off straight, and then I think maybe we'll go straight for just a little bit more up this hill, where we will then turn and connect to the main road over here. So I think that's how we're going to leave this area for now, since it's a little hard to detail and we don't know exactly where our tracks are going to come in from, and things with this road might change, and some other demands that we probably aren't looking out for at the moment. So I think we'll leave that here, and then hopefully soon, although it looks like Jackson just grew, we can deliver goods hopefully in the next video or 2. So that's exciting that Jackson is now ready for goods. So again, soon we'll connect that up, but I think that's pretty much all that we're going to do in this video. So with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.